Welcome to FAAC. We're really pleased to be participating in this event in the sport of Darley. I'm Bill Martin, a Public Safety Business Manager here at FAAC. We're going to give you a little glimpse into our virtual training environments and how these can be brought together and coupled together to execute a single scenario using multiple disciplines and many players through our Continuum of Training program. I'm joined here today with two specialists, training specialists in the industry, Chuck Deakins and Russell Young. Chuck's our leading subject matter specialist here at FAAC. He also heads up our customer training group. Russell is one of our fire specialists, and Russ is very heavily involved in a statewide training organization today. So without much ado, I'm going to hand it over to Chuck and Russ and enjoy the experience.
All right, thank you, Bill. Just so you guys know, we've tried the audio on this and it's not worked with the mask. Russ and I are going to maintain our social distance for you. And I may have to end up carrying the speaker around. So if you see that, that's what it's all about. We're going to start with our one part of our driving simulator line. This is called the two view. And the reason for that is so we can put two occupants in the vehicle at one time. Now, the reason that we invest in the simulations is that we can create environments that are somewhat risky or dangerous, and yet students can practice, they can perform in an environment that's risk to them in their situation. As you can see on this particular trainer, we have the cab that very much mimics a large apparatus. Within the cab, all of the air brakes, we have the lights and sirens, the backup cameras. We also have a camera on the students so they can see themselves as we see them as they're performing. We have the PTO, and there's several other things that tie into some of our other products as well. Today, it's going to be a fast demo, but we'll get everything in, and of course, there's questions at the end. Okay, so because this is two views, we also have a different mode where you can actually both see at the same time in the same picture by wearing the 3D glasses, and so we can click on that. For today, we're just going to run the mode of this driver position only for this scenario. One of the part of the simulation that is of great value is that student retention and learning. So what we teach is for the instructors to stop talking and let the students drive so they can experience the consequences of their actions. So that's what I should be doing right now. Stop talking, I'm going to drive, and you'll see how this goes and what we do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mount up. The call on this particular scenario that we're going to is a report of a natural gas leak. Some of you might roll to that with emergency equipment on. Some of you might not. Of course, your policies within the simulator are adjustable. We can change anything in the scenario within the scenario via a application called Scenario Toolbox. In this particular case, I'm going to roll with the lights and sirens on. So I'm responding to the Brown Building report of a natural gas leak. As I'm going, there's certain obstacles that come into my roadway here. As I'm driving down the street, I'm scanning intersections, checking left and right. Of course, we could do this in inclement weather. Of course, we could put rain on. We could change all of those. Today, we're just going straight into here. But surprise, as I respond, I see the explosion. But I, as a new engineer, I want to pick up that fire hydrant, so I pull right up here and I stop right here. So wow, look at this. Hit the brakes, hit neutral, and now I'm out of the vehicle. This is the true power of simulation training is in the after action review. So again, the student is allowed to perform. Now we're going to take a look and see, and the student can see themselves. Oftentimes, you probably saw a few things that I did that you didn't like, right? That would be not within your policies or procedures. Russ has certain things that he saw that he'll filter as an instructor, and I look at certain things that I filter as an instructor. But what we have at FAAC is a application called Vitals. And if you scan on that screen right there to the Vitals, you'll immediately see the colors of red, yellow, and green. So what this is doing is Vitals is basically, it's standardizing us as instructors, and it's assessing students' performance. So virtual instructor training assessment learning system. So you can easily scan across there, and we can't go through everything today, but we're going to pick a couple of them. Russ, let's pick one of the red ones there that you didn't like, that you saw what I did.
Okay, so one of the first ones I noticed that really stands out to me, you were looking down and trying to talk quite a bit, so you were distracted a little bit. You went over the tire. However, one of the bigger ones was the placement on scene. Okay, so if I go to this red square, it tells me that you were parked in a bad situation that you shouldn't have been in. So we can select that and see the highlight what it is, and then I can take you there as replay. So I push replay, and we'll see what this is talking about as it takes you down to that end.
Now, all of the others on there they're all configurable to your standards, your policies, and your procedures. So take, for example, this location. Click on the red one, Russ. Just click right on it. It'll automatically jump us right there. Now hit play. Okay, and now we're right here at the scene where I'm going to park. Okay, so let me park in the position. We may have a difference of opinion, but it's your standard, your policy that's really important. So these are adjustable. Right now, we're saying that this position is not good. Russ is changing the camera view so that I can see myself as you saw me and where I parked. Now we can have a conversation with that. If you want to bring the learning retention up, lectures 10%, practical application is 65%. If you can make me as a student, an instructor in the class that asking me questions, retention can go to 90%. So now Russ as the instructor is only asking me questions. Why did I do what I did, right? What was I thinking? And I respond, I said, well, I saw the fire hydrant. I thought we need to pick up the fire hydrant to get in there and do this. And the reaction back is to the rest of the group, why is that not the best position? Now we're engaging everybody. Learning retention is coming up. I'm seeing for myself what's happening, and we're beginning to raise that experience and lower the liability in the case. So we can practice this on many occasions. Very good. Let's go take a look at our second. All right, we're going to step over here to what we call inCommand. And this is a command, basically, a command simulator, and it is very interactive. We can do many things with it. Russ, go ahead and start in here and explain what we have.
So you are now in a command vehicle or a BC vehicle. You're driving into the incident. You will have the option to stay in the vehicle and give a scene size up, or you can exit the vehicle and interact with the incident as you see fit as the incident commander.
Okay, so since I'm not from your friendly side, I'm going to go ahead and jump out and start a little bit of a walk around, and I can either designate somebody else to do this size up, or I could do it myself, right?
Yes.
So I have the ability to walk pretty much anywhere I want in this scenario.
And interact with any of the people on the incident.
I can interact, I can look around, I can do whatever, okay?
Now, normally we don't advocate that the incident commander goes interior, but for this application, if you'd walk up and enter that door, you're able to interact with the building.
And if I'm new, you're not going to coach me through this. You're just going to let me go, and I'm going to show you what I can do. And again, experience the consequences of my action. And that's why I'm here, right?
Correct. And then we'll do an after action review where we'll get the benefits of the simulation.
Okay, so I'm going to run in here and in the building here and then get this set up. Go pop the door. Go into here because I know the scenario, so I know where I'm trying to get to go here.
Now, we also have the ability to put 12 students in this scenario also, so you could have an assignment given out to this. They can interact with the building, with the incident, with the fire. They can take a hose line in, or we can automate it to help out if we're a single incident commander training student.
So how many stations is that?
That's 12.
12 different stations. Okay.
Now,
So I'm going to get out of here. I don't want to be in there by that fire. That's you guys' job. We'll let you do that.
And engine one just reported that they're en route coming to you.
Okay, so I have help coming now. If I'm the incident commander, I've been instructed to do a size up, and there's several strategic points that I need to cover, naming the fire, the address, the front, naming the sides of it, all of this that a person would normally go through.
We'll paint a picture for incoming units.
Basically painting a picture for incoming units. So here comes some incoming units. I've radioed for that, or maybe they were dispatched initially. We can dispatch in either of these systems, either through pre-recorded dispatching that you record and insert into the program, or it can be done by the instructor having the dispatch. Either way, you can do that. So it takes it more to your.
We also have a helicopter arriving on scene according to dispatch at this point.
Okay, here goes my firefighter. Here's my rig here. I see the police have arrived. They blocked the intersections. Where's this helicopter at?
He's inbound. He should be arriving soon.
Okay, so in the actual scenario, rather than the demo, he would only add these police come, helicopter if I requested it.
if you ask for it.
So again, the value of simulation training is that I can show you my performance. I can do what I think is proper and what I think is correct. And then we reverse the roles. We go back and we look at it. I can see myself as you were.
And with all the scenarios, the actions of the incident commander change the dynamics of the scenario through input from the controller. So I can change this based on your decisions.
So with 12 positions, what can I do? I can do everything.
You can have all different engines, trucks, hazmat vehicles, whatever, ambulance. You can chop a door, climb a ladder.
Rig up. Show me something else that we can do. Let's show everybody some other options here that we could do.
Well, if we're on the instructor screen now, and so earlier I put in a few of the vehicles, the emergency vehicles that's in the library that we can utilize. This is just a very small portion of some of the vehicles that are in the system and aircraft. To drop things in, we have an extensive library with almost endless supply of vehicles and incident objects.
Fire.
So for example, right now, I'm just going to build an incident right here, if you would. So I am going to drop in some trees. And with those trees, we probably want to have an aircraft crash into them so that we can make this a little bigger. So I'm going to put an aircraft in. And then, of course, with an aircraft crash, you always need to have some fire. So we're going to have a fire in there. And then as we zoom in, you can see that we have an aircraft fire. We're starting to get some foam application on it. And we could add victims. We can add whatever we want to this.
And more helicopter support. Basically, again, whatever I call in for. Okay, so the advantage again is that the scenarios are almost endless. They're almost unlimited as far as what you could do. You as an instructor can raise the fire, lower the fire on the fly while I'm in this scenario.
There's a lot of things I can do on the fly. I can make the fire change. I can have explosions. I can have firefighters down, civilians down.
A lot of things that I, as a student, would be recognizing, should be recognizing. And if I don't, when we do an after-action review, we come back to you and say, what did you do? Why didn't
And
you
some
do
things
it?
can happen because of your actions.
Very good.
Or
Okay,
your decisions.
let's go to the next slide. What do we have here?
This is a side mount pump panel. It's a generic version meant to simulate the pump panel on the side of a truck.
Yep.
It has full function features. Push button. It has anything you can find on a fire truck.
Okay.
The screen you see here is the instructor control station that allows the instructor to do inputs for the evolution in regards to what the student is doing and their actions.
Okay.
Okay. You can customize this to match any pump panel.
So we could change the different gauges and
You can change the different gauges. You can
Positions
change the
there.
layout, the position for what's available on the pump panel.
And again, advantage here, Russ, I could train this even though it's snowing outside
Train it in the snow. We can
I
train
can
it
train
in
it
grass.
in a classroom.
A lot less wear and tear on my equipment when we.
And if you're from the country I'm from, we don't want to waste any water because we don't have a lot. So it saves us that, right?
Yes.
Isn't it also, if you're going to train without this, you have to bring the rig out, right?
We have to bring the rig out. And we also have to have a crew that can help us pull hoses and reset everything for the next student.
Okay.
With this, we can literally run more students. We could run 3 or 4 times the amount of students through an
Okay.
evolution traditionally.
Let's take a look. Show me how it actually functions rather than just talk about it. Let's take a look.
This system is a top mount,
Top mount system.
also customizable, also contains everything you would find on a typical fire truck.
Okay.
So on the instructor station, I am going to select a evolution, as easy as this. And once it boots up, then I can just hit start and the system's ready to run.
Okay.
So if I can get you to be my student, I'll have you step up on.
And what is this sheet here that I'm seeing?
So this is all the skill steps, basically a lesson plan.
Okay.
So if I follow this lesson plan, or my instructors follow this lesson plan, everybody's teaching off of the same subject, the same.
So again, trying to standardize what we're teaching.
These can be changed, okay, to meet your SOPs or SOTs. You can customize this to meet all of your skill steps that you require.
And they could be saved.
And they can be saved. We can put a student's name in and save
what they did, how they did, the score that they have for future reference to see if they can improve after training. And we use these all the time for engineer promotionals, officer promotionals. Same with the inCommand.
inCommand, we could do the same thing,
We
right?
do promotionals.
Create a custom scenario
Yes, you create your own scenario.
and use it
and
for
use it
that
for your certification.
certification. Excellent. Okay. And then I also remember you telling me up here on this is what I'm working with, right? It's what I have on my rig.
Hoses that are on this truck,
particular
right?
rig. And those are all customizable as well, so you can put them on their truck, whatever they have.
Yes, and
Okay.
we can change those up even on the fly while we're running. So with this evolution, just real quick, if you would, we need some water to come in because we are starting to overheat the pump.
I know.
So if you would pull the tank,
Tank the pump.
you'll see water comes in, you see we'll start.
That gauge is moving, it's changing. Okay.
Now they've pulled, the crew has pulled the black line, which is the number 4 passenger discharge. So if you would go ahead and open that one.
Which is this one here. Not too fast though, right?
Yeah,
All right. I remember that.
last time.
Flip that hose out of his hand.
Now with that open, you can go to your electronic.
Oh, that's right. Because I have to set my
Touch the preset. We have it
motor
set
there.
at 185, which is required on this one.
Okay.
And it will run up.
And now it's running.
And that runs this up to pressure. Now for time restraints, I just wanted to show you real quick. We also have a few things I can do on here. So if I go to this engine tab and we have a few failures that I can run.
Okay.
So I can do everything from low oil pressure, low battery voltage to high pump temperature. If I trip those and have those activate, the pump will indicate that. So we'll get an indication of a high water temperature.
I, as a student, wouldn't be seeing your screen, right?
You won't see
You
the,
won't see the screen, but somewhere on here, I should be seeing some kind of a warning light or checking
all
on
the
that.
indicator lights will come on here or trouble lights that you will need to have. So once you identify that, we can pause the scenario, stop everything in motion, discuss what you did, how you repaired it, and what choices you could make or why it worked. Then we'll go back into the scenario, clear the fault, and we can resume right where we left off. And we can bring in conversations about calling incident command because we had a trouble.
So again, that's reducing liability for us. Advantage of simulations is that I can perform on this and show you what happened. You can see what I do and I experience the consequences of my actions.
Correct. And on this, I'm able to overheat the truck, overheat the pump,
All right.
cavitate the pump, fail hoses, things I can't do out on the training ground.
Okay. What else on this system do we have? I know there's a whole bunch of controls up here that I'm not fully familiar with. What do we have?
We have a foam operation system, so we have foam injection on here. We also can put system, the compressed air foam system that we can use. They work just like the real systems. That way we can use foam, practice with foam, the calculations for foam without ever spilling a drop of foam up for environmental concerns and safety.
Okay.
But we still need that practice and that's available on these pumps.
Can we do the dispatching on here? Can we do we have actually like evolutions?
We have evolutions that have audio recorded. We also have instructor led or input through headsets, which we can have on at the time and have radio conversations as you work with the driver operator.
I know you guys have a lot of formulas. Is that right? The nozzle, the hose size, the friction loss. And it's like one of the first things I was taught was I had to do the math on all that. Can I practice that on here? Can I be tested on this? How does that work?
One way that I've used the panel real effectively is presenting a friction loss or a hydraulics class or course where we figure out the calculations, use all the numbers, and then actually come up to the pump panel and watch it in action, see if our calculations are correct and if they're right and where the build formulas fall in. So it really reinforces to the student that learning aspect.
Okay, very good. So, and radios, we still have radios on this?
We do.
Okay, let's step back over here and tie this all together then. So we've seen a lot of features and a lot of good reasons why to use simulations. The greatest value of simulation is in the after action review, allowing the student to experience their consequences or actions and to be able to see themselves as they perform. And that's where the learning retention comes up. But there's also, again, we can use them in inclement weather. We can do that. But there's one other aspect here that FAAC has, and it's called the Continuum of Training. What we can do is we can tie all of these devices together, right? Because our radios are all tied together. We have them on each device. I could drive to a scene here, set my vehicle, set my PTO. As an engineer, I would get out, step over to my pump panel and start running my pump panel. I would hear the same voices, the same radios. I'm in the same scenario, correct?
And the pump panel will interact with the cab. So when you throttle up the pump, the RPM.
This cab here will actually,
will act as it should with a.
what about this position?
Now, the officer, the captain position, can leave that position, walk over to the inCommand.
Back over to inCommand.
And run the incident as the IC or the incident commander from that position there and tie it in, working with the rest.
So we could hear radios between inCommand, pump panel, and the driving simulator.
And if we have student role players at positions, they can also radio in and react to the
Yeah,
incident
because
commander.
there's 12 stations on the inCommand, so you could add more and more students, administrators, whatever you're going
And we
to do
can
for your.
casualty incidents, we can do active shooters, we can do hazmat. It's an all hazard. We can do all that. And we can add those role players in as necessary. We can do an emergency operations center, an EOC with lots of.
Full
We
EOC.
can even put our own feed in from news networks so that they're getting information from
And,
that.
and in the driving sim, we have rural areas, we have downtown areas, we have desert areas, mountain areas, same in inCommand.
Same in inCommand, including we have airports. So
Airports.
with the ARP trucks, we can simulate airport incidents.
Okay.
Aircraft fires, we have everything from fighter jets to Cessna 172 available to have incidents with.
Last question, I'm sure it's on everybody's mind, but what about these? Everybody, they're very popular. Everybody likes to see them
VR is very popular. We've actually had this for years in the military.
on the military
Side of
side.
things with that. We're currently developing it for all of our systems, including the pump panel where we have a virtual pump panel and you can run the levers and practice your calculations.
Actual virtual.
Virtual.
Okay. Using that. Okay, good. So again, I apologize. I know it's fast. I hope we covered as much as we could. Obviously, they're going to open up, hopefully, questions and answers. And, you know, we appreciate your time and consideration in this because it's obviously we believe in these systems. We believe in tying the training all together. So you respond to the scene, then you get out and you handle the scene because a lot of times you forget where you're at when you're in simulations, and that's the power of simulation training. Bill?
Great. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Russ. Appreciate it. I think we're going to open the floor up to some questions now. If there are any of the Darley representatives there have got some questions in hand that they want to throw our way.
Hey, Bill, this is Will Taylor with the Darley Defense team. I did have one that I posted online, but I figured I'd just jump in. First of all, gentlemen, thank you for doing this demo for us. Ever since I saw this, this is just amazing. Even when I was back in the service, we saw you guys at FDIC, and I had my team from Mildenhall start talking about the top mount pump panel. So it's amazing to see where it's come since then. So that's awesome. In regards to the pump op simulator, can you change the coefficients for different types of hose lays and different types of hose? And the reason why I ask is because we've seen a trend in the fire service now to go to high flow, low PSI hose lines. So they're having to adjust those coefficients based on different types of hose lines.
That sounds like a technical question, so I'm going to have to hand it over to Russ.
So the answer to that is yes. We have a hose editor that's built onto the system, and you can go in and put whatever coefficients, anything that you need in there can be changed to match the factory recommended, whatever the hose that you're using or the nozzles that you're using require. So you can customize every bit of the hose with some small inputs. What I recommend to everybody that's used this is they leave the hoses that are in there and just build their library above that. And so you can name any of your hoses so they match your rigs, your department, or what type of hose, so you can identify it. And as soon as you drop it into an evolution, it will function to those specifications.
Amazing. Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate the answer on that question.
Any more questions or? Nope. That's it. Well, hopefully that gives you a little insight into what we have to offer as a company. I'd take this opportunity to thank Darley for allowing us to showcase our products today. I think one of the things, it's easy to say that simulation has a lot of benefits. There's the economic benefits, not being having to use the unit for training. There's the liability. There's, being able to run this in code 3, practice code 3, without having to go out on the road, which is illegal in this country. But ecological effect, not having to drop any water on the ground or foam, deploy anything with it through the pump panel. But I think one of the things that probably that you've heard Chuck express it as he goes through his meeting, it's the training value to the student and the ability for the student to retain a much higher rate of learning through the practical application of the simulator. Also, that unique experience and understanding of the consequences of their actions as they are able to repeat seeing what they did as they went through the scenario, repeating that, and also keeping them in a safe environment. So thank you. Thanks very much for your service, and keep on staying safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.